Hi, I'm Connor Lane, and this video is about deepfakes and their implications. So a little bit of background as to where deepfakes kind of fall into the scheme of things is I have this Venn diagram that shows that deep learning is a subset of representation learning, which is a subset of machine learning, and so on and so forth. But it also is interesting to note that the outer layers of this diagram are also the oldest, so time kind of goes towards the inside. And so obviously AI was made first, and the newest is deep learning. And within deep learning is where deep fakes falls, and we'll get to that. But first, so I want to explain a little bit about how deep learning works really quick. So you start with some input layer, and these are always numbers. That's all they are. Each one of these is just a number. That's what's inside of a neuron, which is inside of a neural net. And numbers basically get multiplied by a set of weights for each neuron that they go to after that. And I don't want to get too into it, but basically you start with some vector of inputs and you end up with some vector of outputs. And that seems really simple, but it turns out that if we train these things to do what we want them to, they actually have a ridiculous amount of applications. They can classify an image, like maybe they can classify the difference between a dog and a cat, or a hot dog or not a hot dog. um, it can also do some other pretty crazy stuff: speech recognition, language translation, sentiment analysis, whether something sounds good or bad, um, cancer cell detection, video captioning, real-time translation, face detection, and self-driving cars. I mean, there's a lot that it can do. I mean, this is where it all comes from, but it leads to all of this, which I think is really cool. And that brings us to a new application of deep learning involving face swapping. And so most of you probably aren't really impressed by this at first. That's you, because you say, Snapchat can do this. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that Snapchat can do this, but it is very limited in its ability to do this. Using deep learning, we can get much better results. So, say I want to put Nicolas Cage's face onto Anna Kendrick. With deep learning, we can do it really, really well, and it's almost scary how well we can do it. And because it can do it so well, we run into a lot of social issues. So, the whole reason that this kind of surfaced in the first place was in fall of last year, a user on Reddit released a bunch of pornography involving celebrities, and they were extremely realistic. Specifically, this girl, Gal Gadot, and then one other girl. But anyways, it was shocking how real they were. And this is obviously an ethical issue because these celebrities didn't consent to being pictured in porn because they didn't participate in porn. So that's kind of bad when they don't have their consent. So there's a lot of other unethical things that can be done with this technology, with deepfakes. Say there was some television broadcast of like Donald Trump saying something like, we're about to release a bunch of nukes or something like that. Obviously, fake celebrity porn, which we've already gone over. Really, any public figure can be targeted with this technology. And I say only public figure because you have to have a large amount of data on the target that you want to make a fake video of. So most people don't have, gigabytes of pictures of their neighbors. So normal people aren't really at risk for this. But anyone who's got enough pictures and enough clips of their voice is at risk for this type of fraud. So you could really ruin the reputation of someone if your video is realistic enough. The list goes on. I'm sure that there are many more unethical applications for it. That being said, there are some good things to be done with it. It would be pretty cool if you could have like a video of Napoleon Bonaparte or Abraham Lincoln. That would be really nice for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes. And outside of entertainment, you also have people that can't move their facial muscles and make expressions. If you wanted to, you could produce a video of them smiling, laughing, talking, whatever, if they so desired. But that's a useful application for it. There might be some more. And the big question is, does positive outweigh the negative? And I think most people would agree that this type of technology, it doesn't really lend itself well to anything other than deceit. And so the answer is probably not. However, since it's such a new thing, there aren't a lot of rules or regulations for it. And with how realistic it is, it's really hard to tell whether we'll even be able to regulate this type of thing. I mean, every day people come up with new ways to recognize deepfakes, and the day after that, people come up with ways to negate that detection and make it even more real. So it's really kind of in a volatile state right now, and it's hard to tell where it will go from here. Thank you.